Warner Bros. Owns everything from Rick and Morty to DC Comics to Adventure Time, which led to this obvious conclusion: a platform fighter called Multiverses, featuring a bunch of their iconic characters with many more on the way. But considering the wide array of characters in the game, there's also a wide spectrum of morality. Though with no real villains, we have to settle for the next best way to categorize them. I'm Kyle with 1UP Binge, and this is Multiverses Characters, Good to Most Heroic. Now, while they aren't out quite yet, we will be including Rick and Morty on our list, because they are confirmed. For this video, we'll be starting with the least good character, and working our way up to the most heroic. And that least good character is Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty. Rick is the furthest from a good guy on our list, and that's no surprise. Rick is, and always has been, a pretty bad guy. And while the lore established by the game doesn't go into detail, we do know that this is indeed C-137 Rick from the main show. The lore established on the Multiverses website refers to Rick as the galaxy's most wanted, and a nihilistic mega genius, which is consistent with what we know. Rick has done everything from murder to downright torture, and he's the closest to a real villain we have on our list. That said, we will be generous today and refrain from calling him evil. Despite his personality and his sheer hate for those in power, he has saved the galaxy more than once. So he is, sort of, still a hero. She may not have saved the galaxy, but Harley Quinn from DC Comics comes up next on our list. Harley Quinn, originally Dr. Harleen Quinzel, was once a psychiatrist in Arkham Asylum who was assigned to study the Joker. She was seemingly corrupted by the Killer Clown and became his sidekick and main squeeze. Now, normally we would rank her higher on our list, towards the better side of the spectrum, but according to the lore established on the Multiverses website, she is actually a bad guy again, after trying to be a good guy but finding it boring. Harley tries her best, and while her full extent towards heroism or villainy is unknown, with leaked characters like Joker and Poison Ivy, it's likely we'll know more about her story soon enough. Moving on to the Tasmanian Devil, or Taz, from Looney Tunes. Taz is a dog-like creature from Tasmania and a common recurring character in Looney Tunes. He is a living tornado who thrives on chaos and loves to mess things up. He's a ball of manic energy that apparently is much nicer after you get to know him. Taz focuses mostly on his hunger, and even his moveset is focused on his eating capabilities. And when he's full, he's not nearly as manic, and he becomes much less destructive. But due to his destructive tendencies and general chaos that follows him, we can't rank Taz any higher. Moving on to Tom and Jerry. These two have been up against each other for a long time. However, while the two are always at each other's throats, they're also seen to work together when they need to. Tom and Jerry hate each other for the most part. Even when exchanging pleasantries, they're preparing their next attack. However, despite their hatred for each other, they are actually pretty good guys for the most part. Their bio even pointing out how they'd be a powerful member of the team if they would stop fighting each other. Coming from Game of Thrones, up next is Arya Stark. Arya is the third child of Eddard and Catelyn Stark, and as she grew up, she never wanted to be a lady. This has carried over into her adult life. She became an assassin known as a Faceless Man, and traveled all throughout Westeros, trained as a powerful swordsman. Arya's story from the Multiverses perspective kind of ends at the training, although it says she's changed Westeros forever. We have to rank her kinda low because as an assassin, she does enter some murky territory, morally speaking. Moving on to the iconic Bugs Bunny from Looney Tunes. Bugs is a very popular character for a reason. He's the definition of a trickster god, as everything he does is some sort of trick. He's a fun-loving, wascally wabbit who on occasion loves to dress up as an opera singer and beat up his enemies. He comes equipped with many items up his sleeve that he just loves using, and due to his trickster nature, it's quite obvious to see why he has to rank here, because it's hard to see what his true nature is, when it's common for him to be a jerk to the rest of the cast. But despite that, we do believe that Bugs Bunny is a good guy. The other half of Rick and Morty, Morty Smith, is up next. Morty's the grandson of Rick Sanchez, and he's been part of his grandfather's adventures for quite a while. Morty is interesting because we're not exactly sure how far along in the show this Morty is. But based on Rick's leaked skins, and the quote they use for Morty on the Multiverse's website, it's around season 3. Now, Morty's bio says he's mostly dragged around by Rick and not working on his own volition, hence why we can't really blame him for Rick's mistakes. Morty is a character who is slowly growing into his own and is confident more and more often, though he is still a kid and makes plenty of mistakes. Up next is everyone's favorite nerd, Velma from Scooby-Doo. Velma is one of the founding members of the Mystery Inc. crew, and her bio says that she was solving mysteries since most people were still in diapers. She solves mysteries and helps to reveal the evils that hide behind masks. She is intensely intelligent and always tries to do her best to help people around her, whether that be through her intelligence or her intensely useful mystery-solving skills. But she also isn't one to be messed with, because her bio mentions she can kick some serious butt when she needs to. Next up, we have LeBron James. Hailing mostly from real life, but based on Space Jam 2: A New Legacy. LeBron is the latest fully fledged character in the game at the time of writing this script, and he's become quite popular in that short time. According to his in-game lore, he's an amazing team player who has brought his many different teams a variety of victories throughout his career. LeBron is also prevalent in the events of Space Jam 2, where he has to fight off against Al-G Rhythm with the Looney Tunes. LeBron saves the universe in that film, and his in-game lore mentions that he's always happy to help save the multiverse during the events of the game, hence why he ranks so high. Next up, we have a fan favorite, Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. Shaggy is interesting because in the original continuity, he is seen as nothing more than a coward. However, according to his in-game bio, he is portrayed as far more brave, biting into strange crystals and seemingly exploring mansions with Scooby of his own volition. He also draws upon a power from an unknown realm that has somehow made him far more brave than he usually is. This gets to the point where he is even said to do anything to look after the little guy and protect those in need. However, like usual, he is also more inclined to eat a sandwich first, which shows where his head is for the most part. We now get to the Iron Giant. As his name implies, he is a large metal alien robot, supposedly from the planet of Mars, who landed on Earth. He was found and helped by Hogarth due to having no memory of his past, and no designation of his future. The Giant is someone who wants to help no matter what, and is said to be a peaceful creature for the most part. This gets to the point where he tries to emulate his hero, Superman, and save the world at any cost. Now, due to still, existing, we can assume this version of the Giant doesn't play out the iconic ending of the film. So while he doesn't get a hold of that feat, we still think his heroism is admirable, and he deserves this spot on our list. The titular character from Steven Universe, Steven Quartz Universe, is up next. Steven is the son of musician Greg Universe and resistance leader Pink Diamond. He is the only known hybrid between a human and a gem. He grew up around a wide array of different gems who taught him how to save the universe. Steven is a hero through and through, with a big heart and limitless optimism. According to Steven's character bio, he was a teenager when he saved the universe, which means this version of Steven comes from Steven Universe future. He dismantled the hierarchy of gems and helped millions of gems across the universe, making life better for just about everyone. So it's no surprise we would rank him here, but he's still not even the best Steven Universe character. And that aforementioned Steven Universe character is Garnet. Garnet is hard to rank because while she didn't save the universe like Steven, she is sort of responsible for it happening. On a base level, not only did she help train Steven, lead him along the right path and deal with extraterrestrial threats like Jasper and the Diamonds, but she actively helped in Steven's fights. This is not to mention her time fighting in the Rebellion, which is just as important, and also after her first formation where she dealt with a prejudice against fusions. And without her, Steven probably wouldn't get as far as he did, and Garnet doesn't have the whole Pink Steven blowout. Coming from another Cartoon Network show, Jake the dog from Adventure Time is up next. Jake is the son of Warren Ampersand, a shapeshifter from outer space who steals the soul and power from his children. Jake, much like Garnet and Steven, is a hero down to the bone. Now, Jake is sometimes lazy, but overall, he's an amazing hero and adventurer who is more than willing to do anything to save the world and the land of Ooo. He is also a good friend and husband willing to help anyone in need. Yes, some episodes show him being greedy or slothful, or even just unwilling to help, but overall, Jake is an amazing amazing guy, and full of love for everyone around him, especially his wife, children, and brothers. The other Adventure Time character, Finn, is up next. Finn is a hero and adventurer protecting the land of Ooo with his whole heart and mind. He's supposedly the last human in Ooo, although there are humans on the outlying islands, and he takes that role very seriously, helping everyone around him, no matter how big, small, or helpless they end up being. Finn will help them even if it endangers himself. He's defeated powerful evil beings like the Lich, and has helped people like Simon come back to reality. Finn eventually becomes content with his life and helps the humans return to Ooo, becoming a major player in the many kingdoms because he is truly a hero. But despite his amazing hero status and his intense love for everyone, he can still be jealous and greedy and sometimes make wildly bad decisions. So he has to settle for being in the top 5. The first, and so far only Multiverse's original character, Reindog, is up next. Reindog was the protector of the royal family of Xanafer, one of the first to be destroyed by the Universal Cataclysm. This led Reindog to stand for everything his kingdom meant, protecting those that were weaker than him. Reindog is a staunch protector, both in battle and during his past. He is a massive help on the battlefield, and without him, the looming threat of multiverses would be much worse. He'll also do anything to protect those he loves, and we respect the hell out of him for that. And I mean, come on. He's a good boy. Earning our Bronze Medal of Good is Batman from the DC Comics. Bruce Wayne became Batman the day his parents died, when he became the protector of Gotham. Batman is a genius, full of gadgets and plenty of power, doing anything to protect those in need and defeating the many villains around him. Batman is a hero without a doubt, and his large family filled with heroes is a testament to that. He's a founding member of the Justice League and a member of the Trinity, a trio of some of the strongest heroes in DC. Batman does have to take bronze because he's also paranoid, full of plans and backup plans for no matter what happens to him. Batman may be a hero, but he's still a bit easy to figure out and in some stories actually easy to corrupt. The Silver Medal of Good has to go to DC Comics' other hero, Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman comes from the island of Amazons and was sent to the world of men to be an ambassador for them and a hero for Earth. According to her bio, she is both feared and loved amongst the multiverse, because even her name brings fear. Diana is someone who will put her life on the line to save the world time and time again. She has defeated many villains and is a founding member of the Justice League, where she's saved Earth more times than we can count. But despite all of her heroism, she is still just slightly outclassed. Our Gold Medal of Good has to go to Superman, also hailing from DC Comics. Superman is the epitome of a superhero. In fact, he's one of the earliest to ever do it. Not only is he the blueprint, where his heroic antics have inspired hundreds, but he's also the most heroic character in the game. Superman is the king of superheroes, and he's done nothing but good. Even stories where he goes evil show that his heart is usually in the right place. Superman is so iconic and heroic that he's even inspired other characters on the roster like the Iron Giant. So Superman definitely deserves the Gold Medal of Good, because he's quite possibly the most iconic hero of all time. But let us know in the comments section if you agree with our ranking, and tell us what we should cover next. And if you need a one-up, make sure to hit that notification bell and binge our Good to Evil playlist, where we break down the morality of the characters in your favorite games. Thanks for watching.